I deeply regret the way I played Red Dead 2 for the first time because I made mistakes that made me miss out on unique missions, amazing characters, rare items, and even one of the most emotional moments in the entire story. And the worst part is that many of these mistakes can't be fixed later. That's why today I'm going to show you the 10 biggest regrets I had in my first playthrough, starting with the first one. Number 1. Rushing too fast through the main story. I decided to start this video with a mistake that most players regret the most, and that's totally understandable because the story in this game is so gripping that you just want to find out what happens next as fast as possible. The problem is, unlike most modern games, Red Dead 2 was made to be played slowly, so if you rush through the main missions, your experience will be seriously compromised. You'll miss unique missions that only Arthur can do, super important dialogues for the narrative, and some of the most emotional moments in the game. A perfect example is the conversation with the nun at Emerald Ranch Station. I was really shaken when I found out I had missed that interaction because I pushed the story forward and ignored her missions in St. Denis. That's a pain I still carry to this day. But it doesn't stop there because you also end up missing out on exploring mysterious places, lose unique items, and most importantly, miss some of the best camp events. A big part of Red Dead 2's magic is all about slowing down. Walking around the camp, overhearing conversations, and uncovering secrets about the characters. For example, I'm pretty sure a lot of people watching this video have never seen some of the unique camp events, like the one where two strangers run into the gang at Horseshoe Overlook.
What are you boys doing here?
Traveling.
You in a circus?
No, sir, we are speculators. We been out west. Ain't nothing there no more, if truth be told, so...
What's wrong with that fella?
Like I said, slow in the head.
So now you're traveling east?
I guess.
Well, we've been hearing talk about problems, and, well, we got enough problems of our own here. We don't need no more.
Who does, sir? Who does indeed?
So I'm guessing we understand one another.
I'm hoping so, sir. You know, many of life's most avoidable tragedies stem from our great inability at basic comprehension. At least that's the way I've always seen things.
Oh. Goodbye.
Or when Miss Downs shows up to confront Strauss and give everyone a real lesson in manners.
And your husband, is he well?
He's dead. Combination of beatings and sickness did for him.
My deepest condolences, madam.
And mine to you. For all your wretched lives!
If you just found out that this scene exists here because of this video, imagine how many others you've missed while rushing through the main story. But there's one mistake that can mess up your experience even more than just rushing the campaign. Number 2, playing Red Dead like it's GTA. And don't get me wrong, okay? GTA is one of the most important franchises ever, and it was actually the gateway for a lot of people into the Red Dead universe. The problem starts when players assume both games should be played the same way, and it's exactly because of that that a lot of people end up completely frustrated by Chapter 6. We follow Arthur's whole redemption journey, see him give up his own happiness to help the people he loves, and then you get to the final mission and witness Micah stabbing him in the back, or worse, blowing his head off.
You're not better than me, Morgan. Whatever you say, you fool. Damn you. Damn us both!
A lot of people finish the game angry, thinking the ending is unfair, but the truth is, in most cases, the player is just reaping what they sowed throughout the 6 chapters. That's because they spent the entire campaign stealing horses, killing innocents, robbing anyone who crossed their path, and completely ignoring the honor system. Contrary to what many people think, that little bar isn't just for decoration. It changes dialogues throughout almost the entire campaign, altering Arthur's personality and turning him into a much more bitter and aggressive guy. To give you an idea, just check out the difference in his reaction to Sean's death when his honor is high versus when it's low.
He was like an annoying little brother to me. What fun we had riding together. What a goddamn mess we are making of things. Sean has been killed. His head shot half off in an ambush. Still no Confederate gold, but a shitload of trouble.
And this goes way beyond that scene. The way Arthur faces his final days and how he dies change drastically depending on the choices you made throughout the campaign, and if you want to see all the possibilities of the final mission, including every dialogue variation and possible ending, know that I have a full video here on the channel about it. And if you like this video, don't forget to leave your like, and if you like this video, don't forget to leave your like. Know that I have a full video here on the channel about all the possibilities of the mission Red Dead Redemption. Number 3. Ignoring missions with gang members. This one's kinda linked to the first point, but I had to talk about it separately for a simple reason. If you miss these missions, they vanish forever. The first time I played back in 2018, I had no clue about this. I'd see those optional activities at camp and think I'll do them later, but that later obviously never came. When the chapter ends, a lot of these missions just disappear from the map and can never be completed on that save again. And the worst part, the game doesn't warn you about it. Basically, every chapter has exclusive missions with gang members, like going bison hunting with Charles, robbing a ranch with Javier, hijacking a stagecoach with Micah, playing games with Uncle, and so on. Besides being fun activities on their own, they serve another really important purpose: developing the characters. It's through these missions that Rockstar reveals details that wouldn't really fit into the main story without messing up the narrative flow. In Micah's mission, for example, we find out that a big part of his twisted personality comes from an equally messed up family. His dad and grandpa were ruthless criminals, and Micah himself had already committed a double homicide alongside his dad when he was just 17. Which, let's be honest, explains a lot. But for me, the most interesting part isn't even that. It's seeing how the game starts planting the seeds of the gang's downfall way before Chapter 6. It's in these missions that we discover Micah is beginning to manipulate Dutch, trying to turn him against John and creating divisions within the group.
It would be a coward's move to bail on Dutch now. Not like John did. Heard about him disappearing on you fellers. For a year, wasn't it?
Something like that.
I don't trust it. I've been talking to Dutch. Feels to me like he's turned, challenging every move Dutch makes. I know you have your doubts about him too, Morgan.
I got no doubts about John. I've known him 15 years.
So next time you play Red Dead 2, pay close attention to those camp activities so you don't miss those missable missions in the game. But if missing those activities already hurts, the next topic can be even worse. Number 4. Missing important side missions. Now we're talking about missions that don't just deepen the characters, they deepen Arthur Morgan himself. Most of the side missions in the game can still be completed with John in the epilogue, but there's a small selection made specifically for Arthur and his redemption journey. The most famous ones involve Mother Superior and Brother Dorkins in St. Denis. Throughout a few missions, we help both of them with different charity works, and if everything is done right and your honor is high, you unlock one of the most important scenes in the entire campaign. And I'm not exaggerating, okay? For a lot of people, this is the peak moment of Roger Clark's performance in the whole game.
I guess I'm afraid.
There is nothing to be afraid of, Mr. Morgan. Take a gamble that love exists and do a loving act.
But this isn't the only mission a lot of people miss. There's also the story of the widow Charlotte, a woman who lives isolated near Ansburg, and her missions are only available during Chapter 6. The thing is, the game doesn't really make much effort to guide you to her. You have to actually pass through the area for the icon to show up on the map, and that's exactly why I missed this entire story on my first playthrough. We also have the missions from Dr. Bell in St. Denis, where we help a totally crazy inventor build the very first electric chair in history, leading to some of the funniest moments in the whole game. But there's one mission I consider even more important than all those others: the story of Edith Downs. In Chapter 6, Arthur can reunite with Edith and Archie in Ansburg, discovering the devastating consequences of his own actions. Now Edith works as a prostitute, and Archie survives by working in the city's dirty mines. It's through these missions that the game shows, once and for all, just how much Arthur regrets the man he used to be. Besides being key to his redemption, these missions also completely change the future of the Downs family. And in case you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a full video telling the whole story of the Downs family's fall and rise. In just 4 years, they went from a broke family to one of the richest and most successful in the whole country, and Arthur played a much bigger role in that than most players realize. The link will be in the description. Number 5. Not crafting the Legend of the East satchel, leaving the narrative experience behind and diving into mechanics. Not crafting the Legend of the East satchel is definitely one of the biggest regrets for anyone playing Red Dead 2 for the first time, and I'm not just saying that. A friend told me that in his first playthrough he thought making this satchel was just extra fluff, but in his second run he decided to craft it and realized it completely changes the way you play. For those who don't know what we're talking about, the Legend of the East satchel is simply the best quality of life upgrade in the entire game. After unlocking it, you can carry up to 99 units of almost every item in your inventory. Basically, it removes the space limits from your satchel. That means fewer trips to the trader, fewer items left behind, and way more freedom to explore the map. It's a huge help when collecting tonics, jewelry, watches, crafting materials, and especially during hunting. Anyone who's tried skinning an animal and got the message that their satchel is full knows exactly what I mean. But of course, getting it takes a lot of work. To craft all the bags needed and finally unlock the Legend of the East, you'll have to hunt a bunch of different animals and get several perfect pelts. And for a new player, that usually turns into a total nightmare. That's exactly why I created the ultimate hunting guide for Red Dead 2, showing the best strategies to get perfect animals without losing your mind. If you want to craft the Legend of the East bag as fast as possible, check out this video. And since we're talking about items crafted by Pearson, it's time to bring up the item that thousands of players discover way too late. One of the most famous missable items in all of Red Dead 2. Number 6. Pearson's missable jacket. The first time I played, I had no clue about this, but did you know there's a unique item in the entire game that you can only get during Chapter 2? I'm talking about Pearson's famous scout jacket, a super stylish piece. Unlike almost any other jacket in the game, it always catches the eye of anyone seeing it for the first time. The problem is most players lose it without even knowing it exists, and the reason is simple. To unlock this jacket, you need to spend a good amount of time at the camp during Chapter 2, something a lot of people don't do because they're busy chasing the main story or exploring the vast game world. Eventually, during one of these visits to camp, Pearson might call Arthur over and ask for a simple rabbit to prepare some soup. It sounds like a completely normal request, but what few people know is that by completing this task, Pearson rewards the player with a jacket, and that's exactly what makes this item so rare. The mission can only be triggered during Chapter 2, so if you progress too far in the story, the chance disappears forever. So if you're planning to start a new playthrough soon, pay close attention to this, okay? Because losing Pearson's jacket is pretty frustrating, but there's a mistake many players keep making even in their second, third, or fourth playthrough, and I'm about to talk about it now. Number 7. Freeing Micah too early to get the double holster. Yeah, this is a super common move for people starting a second playthrough. A lot of folks rush to bust Micah out of jail in Strawberry as soon as possible just to unlock the secondary holster and start rocking 2 sidearms. And I was one of those people, okay? I mean, who doesn't want combat to be faster and more fun? The problem is there's something most players don't know. You don't actually need to free Micah to get a double holster in Chapter 2. I only found this out after playing through several times. Just finish the first hunter challenge, which is to skin only 3 deer. Once that's done, any trapper on the map can craft a secondary holster for you, so yeah, you can keep using 2 guns just fine and leave Micah rotting in that cell a few more days. Which, let's be honest, is exactly what he deserves. Now, we're going to talk about another game mechanic that a lot of people completely ignore, and it's why some players miss out on some of the most fascinating stories in the entire Red Dead 2 universe. Number 8. Not checking the newspapers every now and then. Ignoring the newspapers in Red Dead 2 is one of the worst things you can do, and I say that because for years I ignored them too. To me, they were just decoration, a bunch of random text made by Rockstar to add some immersion to the world. But I was completely wrong. The newspapers hide secrets, explanations for mysteries, consequences of our actions, and even entire stories that most players never discover. They're even updated throughout the campaign. If you spare the Cornwall men during the first train robbery, for example, the paper reports that the survivors were too scared to ID the criminals, but if you kill them all, the article changes completely and talks about the massacre during the heist. And this kind of thing happens pretty much throughout the whole game, but what I like most about the newspapers are the hidden stories. Some reveal characters who were completely cut from the game, like the mysterious Bessie Adair. Others help solve mysteries that still confuse players today, like the strange growls coming from the Valentine Hotel.
Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Oh, guys, crowning! Oh, no, don't go back in!
Or the real story behind the scientist's cabin explosion in New Austin. Ignoring the newspapers means missing out on all that context. It means losing dozens of little stories that make the world of Red Dead 2 feel even more alive, and that was one of my biggest regrets, because I only started reading the papers during the epilogue, and while I was reading all that, I kept thinking how cool it would have been to follow those stories as they happened in real time. Drop a comment below if you want me to make a series about secrets revealed through newspaper articles explaining the stories and their mysteries. Number 9. Not completing camp requests. This is a mistake I'm still paying for to this day, you know? Right now, I'm on a mission to platinum Red Dead 2 before GTA 6 drops. In fact, just a few days ago, I finally hit that long-awaited 100%. But there's one trophy that keeps haunting me, and if I'm not mistaken, it's called Messenger or something like that. The worst part is, it seems super simple. You just have to fulfill 5 requests from camp members. You know, like when Dutch asks for a pipe, or Jack wants a book, or Sadie asks for a harmonica? That's exactly what I'm talking about. You get the request, find the item, and hand it over. Sounds pretty easy. The problem is, a lot of people don't realize this is one of the trickiest trophies in the entire game precisely because it's missable. If you don't complete at least 5 requests before the end of Chapter 6, your chances of unlocking this trophy on that save are really slim. That's because in the epilogue almost nobody makes requests to John. Some say Abigail and Uncle can still make a few requests, but in my attempts I only got Uncle to ask me for a skunk. And guess what? That wasn't enough to unlock the achievement, because throughout the whole campaign I had only completed 3 requests. To this day I'm too lazy to start a new run just to fix this. It'll probably be the last achievement I go after. So here's a tip. If anyone in the camp asks you for anything at all, drop whatever you're doing and go get that item until you unlock the achievement. And speaking of regrets, I'm gonna end this video with what might be the biggest one of all. Number 10. Completing the veteran missions. In Chapter 6, we meet a man named Hamish Sinclair, a veteran of the American Civil War who lives by the shores of O'Cree's Run. Throughout a few missions, Arthur builds a very special friendship with him. They fish together, hunt together, talk about life, and unlike pretty much every other relationship in the game, there's no stealing, violence, or any crazy gang plans involved. There's just friendship, and maybe that's exactly why these missions feel so special. Hamish makes Arthur feel human again, but it's also this that leads many players to make one of the biggest mistakes in the entire campaign, and now you're about to find out why. When we complete the veteran's last mission, we inherit Buell, a huge Dutch warmblood, tough and with excellent stamina. But what makes Buell special isn't his stats, it's his story. Unlike other horses in the game, he can't be bought, he can't be found in the wild, he can't be stolen. Buell is Hamish's horse, the last link left from that friendship, and before he dies, Hamish made Arthur promise he'd take care of him.
Hamish. I got thrown and a bastard hog got me. Take a Buell for me, would you? He's a good horse. He may be stubborn, but he's strong.
But there's a problem. This is a promise Arthur can never keep, because if you finish the veteran's mission and head to the end of the campaign riding Buell, he will inevitably die during the final events of the story, just like Hamish himself. And that's where one of the community's biggest regrets comes from, because nobody thinks about this the first time they play. I definitely didn't. When I inherited Buell, I thought I was giving the story a happy ending, but actually I was dooming the horse to the same tragic fate as his owner. That's why nowadays I always leave the veteran's last mission for John. That way I get to keep Buell for the rest of the game. And more importantly, I finally get to keep the promise Arthur made to Hamish. But now I want to hear from you. Which of these regrets did you also make, and what mistake did I miss from this list? Tell me down in the comments, because I really want to read your answers. And if after this video you realize there's still a lot in Red Dead 2 that completely slipped past you, then I've got the perfect recommendation. Ever wondered how cool it would be to go to New Austin with Arthur, grab exclusive epilogue items like the Turtle Shell Amulet, Otis Miller's revolver, and even the Brindle Mustang, or better yet, explore the whole area anytime you want, collecting plants for the Herbalist Challenge, finding dinosaur bones and hunting legendary animals, crafting special talismans that Arthur was never supposed to have access to? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to teach you in the next video. I'll show you 2 methods that still work in 2026 to get into New Austin with Arthur and complete pretty much everything the game normally saves just for the epilogue. So click right here by the yellow arrow and come find out how to break through one of Red Dead Redemption 2's biggest barriers. We'll catch up again in just a few seconds. Big hugs and see you soon. Bye.